It all started innocently enough. Emily had just landed her dream job at a prestigious advertising firm. The office was a modern marvel, filled with creativity and energy. But there was one colleague who stood out from the rest, Jack. He was quiet, reserved, always watching. At first, Emily thought he was just shy, but soon she realized there was something deeply unsettling about him. Jack had a way of appearing out of nowhere, silently slipping into rooms, always with an eerie smile. Emily noticed him lingering by her desk, staring at her with unblinking eyes. It wasn't just her imagination, others noticed it too, but they brushed it off as harmless eccentricity. As weeks turned into months, Jack's behavior grew more disturbing. Emily would find unsettling notes on her desk, drawings of eyes, cryptic messages that seemed like gibberish but felt personal. She reported it to HR, but without concrete evidence, they couldn't take any action. Her friends at work tried to comfort her, but the fear was beginning to consume her. One evening, as Emily was working late, she heard a noise in the otherwise empty office. Her heart pounded as she walked through the darkened hallways, the sound of her footsteps echoing ominously. She reached the break room and froze. Jack was there, standing in the shadows, watching her. "What are you doing here, Jack?" Emily asked, her voice trembling. "I just wanted to make sure you were safe," he replied, stepping closer. "It's dangerous to be here alone." Emily's instincts screamed at her to run. She quickly gathered her things and left, but Jack's words echoed in her mind. That night, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Days passed, and Jack's behavior escalated. He began showing up at places Emily frequented outside of work: her gym, her favorite cafe, even her apartment building. She felt trapped, her every move monitored. Desperation gnawed at her, but without proof, she couldn't do anything. Then came the night that changed everything. Emily was at home, trying to relax after a particularly stressful day. She was alone in her apartment, or so she thought. Emily was watching a movie in her room, the soft glow of the screen casting shadows on the walls. Suddenly, she heard a creak in the floorboards downstairs. Her blood ran cold. She muted the TV and listened intently. There it was again, a distinct creaking, followed by the sound of footsteps. Her heart pounded as she tiptoed to the closet, slipping inside and closing the door just enough to leave a small gap. Through it, she could see the hallway dimly lit by the moonlight streaming through the windows. She waited, barely breathing, as the footsteps grew louder, closer. Her worst fears were confirmed when Jack appeared, moving stealthily through her home, a knife glinting in his hand. Emily stifled a gasp, her eyes wide with terror. Jack moved into the bedroom, his eyes scanning the room. He methodically searched, checking under the bed, opening drawers. As he bent down to look under the bed again, Emily seized the moment. She slipped out of the closet and dashed to the next room, locking the door behind her. Her hands trembled as she picked up the landline phone on the desk. She dialed 911, whispering urgently for help. Just as she began to speak, the line went dead and the lights flickered out. Jack had cut the electricity. Complete silence enveloped the room. Emily sank onto a chair, her body shaking with fear. She strained to hear any sound, but there was nothing. Suddenly, she heard a faint tapping. She turned slowly, her heart nearly stopping as she saw Jack outside the window. He smiled and then shattered the glass with his knife. She screamed and ran for the front door, but it was locked. The keys were with Jack. He was now inside, standing on the stairway, laughing as he descended toward her. "You can't escape, Emily," he taunted. "There's nowhere to run." Desperate, Emily rushed to the basement, slamming the door shut and locking it behind her. She could hear Jack's footsteps above, searching for her. Little did he know, there was a passageway in the basement that led to the backyard. She crawled through the narrow tunnel, her hands trembling, and emerged outside. She ran to a neighbor's house, banging on the door and pleading for help. They let her in, and she called the police. When they arrived, Jack was nowhere to be found. The house was empty, with signs of forced entry, but no proof that it was Jack. Emily was safe, but the terror didn't end there. Jack was still out there, somewhere, watching. The police conducted a thorough investigation, but Jack had vanished without a trace. Emily's life was forever changed. She moved to a new city, changed her name, and tried to rebuild her life, but the fear never left her. Every creak in the night, every shadow in the corner of her eye, brought back memories of Jack. She knew he was still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment. And so she lived her life in constant vigilance, haunted by the colleague who watched. Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones who walk among us, hiding in plain sight. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and never ignore the signs. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey. If you enjoyed the story, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a new tale of terror. Until next time, sleep well, if you can.